Hi guys, welcome to Cyberark and we are going to learn about API in this video. So let's start. So API is the application programming interface. It is basically a set of rules that lets one piece of software to ask another piece of software for something and gets an answer back. For example, consider that you are in a restaurant. You are the customer and you want food from the menu. You say, I want a burger, please. The API is the waiter, got it. Burger coming up. The waiter notes that, and the waiter gives order to the kitchen, which is our server, and the server, which is the kitchen, is preparing your burger, and the burger prepared by the server is delivering to you by the API, which is the waiter. So that is the whole workflow happens here. In short, you can say you are a customer request makes a request and the API is the waiter forwards the request and the server is the kitchen in this case processes and prepares and the API which is the waiter returns the response. Think of it as a messenger, like it carries your request to a system and carries the system's response back to you. So, a simple definition we can call it as a set of rules that lets one piece of software to ask another piece of software for something. A software is asking another software for something and gets an answer back is what you call as an API, the application programming interface. Okay, so let's move on with another one, like how an API call actually work. Like you are a client, like you are using a mobile phone. In your mobile phone you are having an app or browser open. So basically if you are using an app or browser, if you want to request something, you just say give me this data. Like that API routes and translates it, like in the server. So what you actually request, the server will process and fetches the data. So what happens, the response, like the response travel back the same path. The response comes from the server to API to the client. So this is how it works. Like as you can see, the server gives back to the API and client. It's like API is like a middleman, right? So you can just say as a middleman. For example, here is you, the client, right? So you are the client and in between you we have the API and at the end we have the server. If you are requesting something, then the request will goes through the API, through the server, and the server is going to response back and the API will going to give it that response back to you. This is how it works, right? So the whole round trip usually takes a fraction of second. So this is something that works in seconds. So it's not like it will take a lot of time. It is working in seconds. So this is how an API call actually works. And the common type of API is the REST API, which is the simple HTTP request. The REST uses the simple HTTP request like the GET, POST methods. HTTP methods is used, which is lightweight and most widely used today. So, and we have the SOAP, which is the older strict protocol that uses XML. Okay, so SOAP is the older and strict protocol which is uses XML, like common in banking and legacy enterprise systems. And we have the GraphQL. In terms of GraphQL, it is something that the client asks for exactly the data it needs in a single request, nothing more. And we have the WebSocket. Like the in WebSocket, it keeps a live two-way connection open. It is commonly used for chats, live scores, and stock tickers. Right. I hope these are the common types of API. It's clear. So this is something that I request you to read. Like the REST API, this is how it is, and the SOAP API, and this is how it is, and the GraphQL, this is it, and the WebSocket, which is about live two-way connection open, used for chats, live scores, and stock tickers. Like that, I request you to read the definition by yourself. Just pause the video and read the definitions like what is REST, what is SOAP, what is GraphQL, what is WebSocket. Okay, so let's move on with the 4 actions the API is going to perform. Like every REST API, because it is about REST API. Okay, requires HTTP methods. Like, have you heard of the HTTP methods? We have methods like get method, the post method, put method, delete method. Like what get method is going to do is about reading. Like show me the data. Like when you say show me the data, is just going to fetch a user profile, a product list, a page of results, and show you the data. That is the purpose of get method in the REST API. And we have the post method for create. Add something new, like create an account, submit a form, post a comment. This is the purpose of post method. And for the put method, it is about updating. Changes what exists, like editing a profile, update and orders, shipping address. This is about the put method. And for the delete is something that it's about removing, right? Take it away, deleting a post, canceling a subscription, removes a file. It all comes under delete method, right? I hope this is something that you can just easily understand. Okay, let's move on with a what a real API call looks like. Like this is how it maybe look like. So for example, this is a request, right? Like a get request for users for a to profile. This is the host api.weatherapp.com, and we have the authorization, the bearer, and the token, and the application type, right? So in plain words, get me profile for user for a to. Right, so that is what this request means for, right? It is asking for get the profile of the user for a to, and here is my access token, right? So there is a token, right? This token is used to prove that you are allowed to ask that profile, right? So it will give you things like this, like Cyberark, Japan, Active. This is a sample example. The server found the data and sent back it in a clean, structured, usually in JSON format. This is how it looks like. The app can display instantly, right? So this is how a real API call looks like. We are giving a request which includes a token. Token proves that you are allowed to ask that particular resource, and you are getting a reply like this, most commonly in the JSON format. Okay, so APIs are everywhere around you, like in weather apps, like pull live forecast from meteorological data providers, like in payments, connect checkout pages to banks and payment gateways, and in social login, like sign in with Google, verify you without a new password, which is about API, and maps in embed live locations and directions inside other apps for ride hailing, match riders, drivers, and live GPS in real time, and in smart devices, let your phone talk to lights, locks, and IoT sensors. It all includes API. You are already using API in real life. Let's move on to the security corner of API, which is about keeping API safe. From a cybersecurity perspective, you can see it's about authentication. Confirms who is calling API keys, token, or logins. Like we have the encryption in API. Encryption, for example, HTTP is not secure, right? So it is about HTTPS. That is, the data is encrypted in transit, so even if it can be interrupted, there is nothing to read, which is the scrambled data, right? And we have the rate limiting caps, how many requests a client can make, blocking abuse and dose tail flooding. This is about rate limiting. If a user requests thousands of requests in a single second, then that's something a DOS attack or something like that, right? So that is about the cap and rate limiting comes in for blocking this abuse and DOS tail flooding. And the input validation rejects malformed or malicious data before it reaches the server. So everything is verifying and rejecting the malformed or malicious data before it reaches the server. So these are some of the key API safety methods. Okay, let's move on to some of the good habits and the risky habits. Like for the good habits, you have to use HTTPS and never use the HTTP, which is sends data in plain text. And it requires authentication tokens. On every call requires a authentication token, and the validation and sanitization is also important for all the data. And return clear and minimal error messages. Sometimes error messages is going to reveal some sensitive information, so return clear and minimal error messages. That is something to keep in mind. For the version your API, like v1 v2 for safe upgrades. And some of the things that you need to avoid in this case is about hard coding API keys inside app source code. If your source code contains API keys, then it is risky. Like trusting client side input without checking it. So if client is sending you some request, then you don't have to trust the request. You have to verify that. If you are trusting the client side request only without checking it, then it's a risk in it. So leaving endpoints undocumented and unmonitored. The endpoint should be monitored and documented. If it is not, then it is a risky thing. So skipping rate limits on public endpoints. Rate limit is something that you should implement to protect from various requesters. Like it's about this that you see, right? So lots of requests, like a DOS attack, right? So you have to enable the rate limiting. If you skip that, that is a risky one. Like returning full stack traces in error responses is again something that you should avoid. So these are some of the things that you learned about API. Like API is simply a messenger between two pieces of software, right? It sends a request and brings back a response to you. It's like a middleman, right? So REST is the common and most common style of API, which has the HTTP methods like get, post, put, delete, etc. Like API power most applications that you use daily, like the maps, payments, logins, whether that you're using should have the API. And securing an API well matters as building as it well, right? So you have to secure that also, right? So that is why you learn some of the secure and insecure methods, right? So that's pretty much about it, guys. Thank you.